Hey friends, welcome to another week. It's another big week because we have another eclipse. So eclipses generally are flashpoints on an area in the zodiac. And again, it's a bit of a reset button. In this instance, it's happening on a full moon and it's a lunar eclipse. So the Earth is moving in front of the moon. So what's being kind of eclipsed or reset is our needs and what brings us comfort, because, broadly that's what the moon symbolizes. And it's happening in the area of the sky that's associated with Libra and Aries. Now, Libra is about accommodating and relating. It's, what do you need? How can I facilitate that? And very much, that energy's needs, well, you put your individual needs to the side. Whereas Aries, on the other end of the scale, is all about the self and confidence and putting the self first, really, which we all need to do at certain times. So it's that push and pull between those two energies. The moon is in Libra, and with the Earth kind of passing before the face of the moon, what I love about lunar eclipses is that and whether you see it or not in the sky, depending on where you are in the world, the moon travels through all of its phases in a matter of minutes. So what would normally take a month takes a matter of minutes. So we're going from new moon to full, and it's just like, or back to new moon actually. So it's got an interesting energized feeling to it. It's almost like all the events that happened in a month happened in a matter of minutes, and it's in the sign of relating. Interestingly, the two planets that rule those signs had a square or challenging aspect last week. So it's kind of this what I want versus what you want, and making those decisions around whether you're going to compromise or whether you're just going to go it alone. So keep that in mind this week. The sun has just moved into Aries. This is exciting because Aries is the beginning of the astrological year. It's the first sign of the zodiac. It's a cardinal sign. It's fire. It's like, okay, the starting gun has been fired. Let's hit it. Let's go. What are your ideas? Don't worry too much about what you have planned. Just do it. Which is good for some people and terrifying for others. It's interesting in the Southern Hemisphere because, these cardinal signs are linked to the seasons, and so we've just had the equinox. So in Adelaide, it's cooling down rather a lot, and it's kind of beautiful to watch that play out. And, it's interesting in the Southern Hemisphere because in the Northern Hemisphere, Aries is associated with spring, and in the Southern Hemisphere, we have, it's associated with autumn. So it's like, okay, well, what does an autumn Aries look like? And I think it's a little bit different to a Northern Hemisphere Aries, but that might be something for us to consider at another time. The other interesting points of this week, I should just say that the eclipse is happening at around 3-4 degrees of Aries Libra. So if you have any planets around there, particularly the inner planets, particularly Sun, Moon, Ascendant, Midheaven, those are very integral points in a chart. So if that 3 degrees of cardinal signs, Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, are being hit for you, be aware, take some time out. It's a reset button. And then, so that's happening at 11 p.m. On Wednesday night, 11:01 p.m. on Wednesday night in Adelaide, so around 11:30 in eastern states of Australia. About an hour later, we have Mercury conjunct the Sun. In traditional astrology, any planet that applied to conjoin the Sun was weakened, and it's this beautiful conceptualization because if you are looking, well, you can't look at the Sun, But what the sun does when it comes close to another planet, or when another planet comes close to it, as Mercury does because it moves so quickly, the sun's light obscures it. We can't see it in the night and we can't see it in the day. Or it's not. Sorry, the sun, the sun rises and we can't see any of the stars. But so it's this conceptualized, so from that act, or from that visible act, the conceptualization comes that the planet disappears, so Mercury is temporarily invisible or weakened or disappeared, But what's happening this week is that Mercury is conjoining the sun exactly. It's happening an hour after the eclipse, and when any planet conjoins the sun, and it's called, at the heart of the sun, and in medieval times it was called Cazimi, and it seemed to be a very auspicious time, partly because, so you've been weakened by the sun's rays, but at the heart of the sun, where symbolically all life originates in astrology, then you are renewed, and some very well-known astrologers have pointed out that depending on the cycle, and Mercury was that incredible god that was able to go to the underworld, one of the only ones that could go to the underworld and also up to visit the gods in the sky. So he could do both. And Mercury, the planet, does that. And on this occasion, he's up chatting to the gods. He's on the far side of the sun. He's furthest away from the earth that he can possibly get. So symbolically, that indicates reaching high, reaching for higher things. Mercury is the planet of thinking and communication. So we're getting some messages directly from the gods, however you envisage that personally. But it's definitely a time for renewed thinking, and I think getting some very high insights. And that's on Wednesday night, about midnight in Adelaide. Fast forward to the end of the week, and on Friday we have the square between Saturn and Jupiter has been firing up, and it's a little bit the old versus the new, expansion versus contraction. That's what those two guys do. And so wherever that's happening in your chart, you're getting some tension around, hey, I really want to make this happen, and that's what Jupiter's saying, and Saturn saying, not so fast. So if you'd like to know what area of your chart that's in, give me a call. But the interesting thing about Friday is that those two planets are moving rather slow. We're going to get that square pretty much all year, a few times on and off. Venus, who moves rather quickly, is coming up to oppose Jupiter. So that tension between Saturn and Jupiter, she's getting involved, and she's probably a little bit unaware. She's passing through Pisces. She's really strong and just, loving life at the moment and relating and being that excellent facilitator that she is. And then she comes up against this aspect, which is rather difficult. So be aware that on Friday, that aspect of tension that you may have been feeling between the new and the old, between constriction and expansion, maybe it will get some assistance. Venus, as I said, is very facilitatory in Pisces, so you may be getting some assistance from someone, or it may be highlighting some relationships that can assist with this, or maybe that are exacerbating that tension. So keep an eye out. That's happening on Friday in Adelaide at 16 degrees of mutable signs. So if you've got any planets around 16 of Sagittarius, Gemini, or Pisces, Virgo, then, pay attention. Again, if you need to know what areas of the chart that is for you, give me a call. I'm more than happy to walk you through that. I might leave it there until next week. I'm off to Confest. I'll probably be doing, which if you don't know is a festival in rural New South Wales. If you're going to be there, I'm probably going to do some DIY astrology info sessions. So come and say hello. Until then, bye-bye.